our campaigns were focused for the next 3-4 years. So it was the gut feeling. There is no way that I could say, okay, this was the point where I realized all what I planned for my age right now never happened. It was never a bed of roses or a royal road to success. And I have this crazy saying, you aim the stars, at least you will end up on a coconut tree.
Your host for another episode of Profiles, the fortnightly series of podcasts by the Rock Club of General Sir John Kotalawala Defence University. Profile features eminent personalities who have peaked in their own chosen fields, and the main objective of Profiles is to provide valuable insights into the professional development of students at the KDU and the young population in general. So today's guest speaker for this insightful discussion is the Managing Director of the SINGHE Group of companies, Founder of WAVE Bolgoda by SINGHE, and also a senior lecturer at the Vethum Business Academy, an old boy of St. Sebastian's College Moratuwa who holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Mathematics and Statistics from the University of Colombo and a Master's degree in Business Administration from the University of Northampton. Mr. Malaka Rubasinghe, welcome to Profiles.
Thank you very much for having me, and always a pleasure to be a part of Rotary Club. And also a part of KDU, so it's always a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to an exciting podcast with you guys.
So, Mr. Rubasinghe, you are a successful Sri Lankan business personality who has excelled in studies and many different fields. So, can you give us a little bit of introduction about yourself to people who are watching this?
Yes, I don't know whether the fact that it's successful, that I cannot say, but a Sri Lankan for sure, someone who had always kind of had a passion to do something different. So let me put it this way, an average schoolboy who tried to do a lot of activities at school. So I was part of a lot of extracurricular activities. So it was not all about studies. At St. Sebastian's College, my alma mater, I was engaged in a lot of sports. So at school level, I took part in athletics, badminton and volleyball. So I captained all three relevant sports at college, and I was also involved in the prefects board. I was the deputy head prefect in year 2004 while I was the athletic captain. So had a lot of extra work under my belt. So I was occupied, I would say. So as a schoolboy, I did my studies, in an average way, or maybe a little above average. I can be a little humble on that, but got selected to the University of Colombo under the physical science stream, and then found my passion in management accounting, or I would say CIMA. So always coming from a business background, I had something towards business. So business was something that I saw from my young age. So I fell in love with the whole CIMA curriculum, although I was a science graduate. So doing mathematics and statistics and managing another qualification was not easy. And then went on to finish my CIMA studies way before I finished my university degree. And then I thought, okay, marketing is also something I would like to excel in, which I had, because I was good at my communications, my selling part, my marketing was kind of prominent with all my other studies. So I took the challenge of completing CIMA, CIM, that is marketing, management accounting, and the science degree, all three together within 3 years, which I think paved my way to do a lot of extra work. So from there, as a schoolboy to a university undergraduate, I got the opportunity at Colombo University to work for a apparel conglomerate in Sri Lanka, MAS, where I was absorbed as an intern initially, and then I went on to work for a good 1.5 years. which actually opened my eyes to basically understand that working for a 8 to 5 job is not my thing. So I learned it at an early age, which I think is a blessing. So I decided I should join my father's business. So from there onwards, I had a plan, but I had to start from the scratch. So my father brought me into the business saying that you need to finish your studies. If you are done, then you can focus on the business. You can't have both going together, which I thought was a little too harsh initially, but looking back in hindsight, I think it was a great decision he made, so that I know what needs to be prioritized when. So with that, I got into the business, but never gave up on my academic career. Thanks to the passion I had in lecturing, I was attached to Wisdom Business Academy as a lecturer for CIMA. To date, I am still a lecturer. For the last 15 years, I've been doing that. More like a passion. It's more like a passion than a job to me. So I keep myself occupied with lecturing while getting engaged in many businesses, which I currently overlook. So that would be a brief introduction about me.
So you mentioned earlier that your field of interest was in mathematics. So what you're doing now is mainly related to business. So what inspired you to divert from your focus from mathematics to this business side? What made you choose the other?
So Nirman, as I explained earlier, I had a business background because business is what I saw from my younger age. Numbers, mathematics, they deal with numbers, but not algebra or geometry or something like that, but they talk about numbers. So I loved the numbers game. And when I started SEMA, I realized that the numbers game or the profit or loss, debit credit was never my thing. Again, accounting was never my forte, yet the management accounting where providing information to the decision makers to make sound decisions was something more relatable. So I always applied what I learned in SEMA to my household business, to the thing that I see day in, day out, which made me realize that I make more sense there than dealing with theory. So I made a decision. I'm going to stick to the business because I'm coming from a background where we have the furniture related business. So even though I didn't know much about carpentry or furniture, I knew as a business what needs to be done. I had a kind of a plan for the business. I had my strategy right to get this going. So I stuck to it, and I'm happy where I am today. So to answer the question you asked, I felt it inside. So it was the gut feeling. There is no way that I could say, okay, this was the point where I realized, but I felt it in my bones, and it was more of a gut feeling that I had, and the passion towards doing something out of an office space, because I am more of an outdoor person. Maybe that comes from the sports that I've been involved right throughout my academic career or during my school days. Even at the university, I was more of a prominent athlete and a badminton player there. So I think the outdoors were my preference. So I was more an outdoor person, which made me to be involved with the people more, a people's man who gets things done. So I didn't have a particular way of doing it. It was just a matter of getting it done. So with that, I think I was more connected to a business. So that is how I ended up doing business by being a math student.
So many businesses were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, the economic crisis, everything. So we would like to know how you overcame those challenges and still tried out as a successful business when it meets all those crises.
So Nirvana, I think it was quite a challenging time we all had. I mean, not us, it's across the board. COVID was an experience we never knew, it was indeed a whole new experience. So I always take challenges up and try to thrive. So thriving in chaos is also a strategy in management. you learn something called thriving in chaos. Sometimes you are, covered in chaos and all in chaos, but you can thrive still because you just put a method to the madness. So we identified COVID was an opportunity even as a furniture maker because Wave wasn't there during COVID. We started Wave soon after COVID or in between COVID periods. So again, that was a challenge, and furniture was very difficult business to run because I had a lot of staff and I still had to keep them, going. There were many families who are depending on our business. So closer to 300 people were basically depending on us. So with that kind of a challenge, we saw still there were opportunities. I mean, as entrepreneurs, as businessmen, as businesses, we need to identify the pain points. So I think during COVID, we proudly say that we identified certain pain points in people. People had to stay at home. So when they stay at home, there was this concept called cocooning, where people look at their households and stay inside and identify, okay, we need a sofa, we need a chair here, we need a dining table here. So that cocooning concept gave us the opportunity, which we identified, and we started selling online. We focused on our marketing because we were not planning to sell during COVID physically. So online sales, online marketing, our campaigns were focused for the next 3-4 years, which I think gave us the edge. Soon after COVID, when people got the opportunity to come out, they were searching for us. So we saw the Google Analytics, we saw how people inquired about it. So this, I think, was one way we overcame this challenge. And on top of that, there were many challenges. I think it was never a bed of roses or a royal road to success. Yet we looked at only the positives and left behind all the negatives, kept on believing in ourselves because we knew if we were to do the right thing, success will follow. So that way, I think furniture business, we went on to open up our new showroom because we identified certain pain points in the customers. Even though they want to come, they needed an experience center. So like that, we identified, and even the banks and the institutions were reluctant to help. Yet we found ways to somehow find the financing, the right financing to go and invest for the future. I think my CIMA, the knowledge, and then the knowledge I gathered during the university helped me a lot to make those sound decisions. And then with all that help, the furniture business has now grown to a bigger business during the last couple of years. So just to say that COVID wasn't easy, but we somehow managed.
So when we take here WAVE Bolgoda, so people love it, like the community, everyone loves it. So this also started amid all that pandemic. So what was the inspiration, what was the idea behind starting all of this?
Yeah, it's a funny story, Nirman. I mean, if I'm to say how WAVE started, WAVE was never a business kind of a intention. WAVE was my hobby because I have a kind of a story where I didn't know how to swim even at the age of 32. So I was born in Moratua by the side of Bolgoda Lake, but we were never exposed to the water because my parents were worried that we will drown and all these the common phobia we islanders have in Sri Lanka. We don't like water, though we are surrounded by water. But then I happened to get into a small accident where I dislocated my ankle while playing badminton. So I figured out doing a sport like badminton, one of the safer sports, and still I can break my ankle, I should take up more challenges in life, which really got me into a thinking where I need to be doing more exciting, more crazy things. So I kind of started finding my mojo in activities, started rock climbing because after the dislocated ankle, the doctors gave me 6 months to get the rehabilitation and all that going. But 3 months down the line, I was on top of the summit of Kirigalpot. So I was always a guy who loved challenges like that. So I took that challenge up and I started doing things which I was always afraid of. So water was one thing. I started, getting into jet skiing because jet skiing was something that I was always afraid of. So I got into a jet ski. I realized, wow, this is giving me some kind of a thrill that I never experienced before. So still I couldn't swim. So then my only condition from my wife and my parents were that, okay, if you really want to do this, you need to learn swimming. So my eldest son, who was about 5 years, started swimming practices, and I happened to join him, tagged along him, and somehow learned how to swim. So now I manage and we go deep sea swimming and all that. Within the last 4-5 years, I have kind of done many adventures in the water. So with this, I got into this habit of jet skiing. So it was kind of my passion, my hobby. And then I realized, okay, people do have this hobby and I need to create a place for them to come enjoy. So then I identified, okay, jet skiing in Bolgoda is a kind of a niche. It's a kind of a expensive hobby for people, but still, we need to facilitate this kind of a sport. Then I came up with a small concept to have a marina, a place where people can park, because everyone who owns a jet ski doesn't have a place to dock it or keep it. And it's a very painful process to take the jet ski out in the water, take it back and all that. So then I wanted to have a small jet ski club going. And then came COVID. So I couldn't do anything. It was just the place, and I actually invested a lot of money. And I had to recover my investment, and there was no way that I could run a jet ski club anymore. So then I saw the opportunity during COVID. There were restrictions for weddings and functions. I'm sure if you remember right, Nirmana, the government only allowed during COVID 35 to 40 people maximum open air weddings. So this was an open air concept that we had. So we basically identified an opportunity there, and we opened this place for public to have their open air weddings. And then people loved the whole idea. I think that was the beginning how we started WAVE. And then from there onwards, we identified all the pain points one by one, slowly but surely, from very humble beginnings, from a small place to quite a popular venue for all the gatherings, functions, engagements, proposals. I think we have come a long way. So WAVE and COVID, I am never gonna curse the COVID or the pandemic, because that created an opportunity and we just grabbed it from both hands. And looking back, no regrets.
So, Mr. Rubasinghe, do you have any suggestions on how road track clubs can contribute towards more vibrant personalities like you, who have gone a long way in their respective fields, like into the chosen fields? How can clubs like these mold those people?
Nirban, I think I wasn't a part of any road track club, unfortunately, but I think I've worked a lot with road tractors. I mean, since my lecturing career, since getting into this kind of business, I've met a lot of road tractors. So I think I see the ability or the potential in these road tractors, and road track is actually an opportunity for any individual to put out that whole vibe out, to go out, talk, get things done, because it's actually, after all, it doesn't really count how many degrees you have or how many what type of grades you have got, right? It's about socializing, networking, going connections, correct? So in society, people don't really ask what was your grade or what was your mark, what was your GPA, right? So it's about identifying you as a vibrant individual. So exactly, and your communication skills, your personality, and then going out and getting things done, the ability to finish. I mean, if you're a finisher, if you want to complete things, right, I'm sure road track is a good platform for things like this. So I think as individuals, as young individuals in our society, road track and many other platforms like that is a good launch pad for our youth to take challenges up, to come out there and face challenges in a much better way. So I think it's an ideal platform. It's a great opportunity for anyone. I mean, if someone is watching this and if someone wants to be a part of a road track club, I say go ahead, do it, join, and then you will see the results in no time.
So striking a balance between work and life is art, and I've seen before in an interview that you have like a great life with your children, you manage your time with your children, your wife and everything. So what is your advice to all the other young entrepreneurs out there? How can they balance their work and life more effectively?
So Nirmana, it's a very tricky question because see, it depends from one to another. But striking a balance, having a work-life balance or enjoying what you do, I think is very important for any individual because it doesn't mean that you have to do exactly what I do or what I did or what I'm going to do. It's about you enjoying what you do. Because my father always said, and that's my life motto: do what you like and like what you do. It's a cliche, I know. I mean, you have heard many a times, but it's easier said than done. Doing what you do, to do what you love and to love what you do, you have heard many a times, but to really do it out there in real life is a challenge because see, you have peer pressure, you have to have a job, you are so much worried about getting the good grades and coming up in life. So with all those kind of requirements, all those pressure coming on you, it's very difficult because you get kind of distracted. So having a clear plan is very important. I mean, something that I always tell my students or my staff or anyone whom I come across who wants a little bit of advice here and there: don't follow me, don't do what I do, or don't do what I say. Have a milestone plan for yourself. Follow your own passion and have a milestone plan, Nirmana, because that is very important. Do you know what is a milestone plan? So it's a very simple plan. So milestone planning is, Nirmana, is, see, when you're a 20-year-old, you look at yourself in another 5 years time, where do you want to be? So at 25, what do you want? At 30, what do you want? At 35, what do you want? So like that, you keep a milestone for yourself, right? And I have this crazy saying, you aim the stars, at least you will end up on a coconut tree, right? So, I mean, it's always better than the ground floor, right? Or the ground level, because you are a little above than what you were. So you need to have that plan. And sometimes you don't get what you want. I mean, all what I planned for my age right now never happened. But I'm at a better position than what I would have been without those plans. So that will help you to strike that balance. And then staying focused and remembering yourself all the time: work hard, play harder, right? Don't, or now they say work smarter. Whether you want to work smart or whether you want to work hard, don't forget to play hard. So enjoy your life, do your thing, stay focused, know your priorities right. So these are the little things you should know if you really want to strike that balance. Little things will go a long way. So these things and sticking to basics sometimes again would take you a long way. Sometimes people try to do a lot of big things, huge achievements. No, sometimes sticking to small things and doing that right will give you that discipline, that focus you need to achieve bigger things in life. Because you don't know when you are getting an opportunity to do bigger things. But when you stick to your basics and do the little things right, when you get that opportunity, you are ready for that challenge. So that's something I would always say, to anyone who needs that advice. Keep it simple, but stay focused. Know where you want to go. If you know your end point, if you know your end goal, it's very easy to reach that milestone.
So before we wind up, we would like to ask one last thing that you have to tell to everyone who's watching this podcast, to the young entrepreneurs out there. What do you have to say to them?
Yes. So entrepreneurs or any individual who want to go out and make a mark for themselves, be that statement piece. Make sure that you go out with your own brand, with your own identity. Don't follow. It's good to have role models. It's good to get inspired, but don't copy. Because you need to go out fresh. You need to go out with your own unique thinking, right? You may be doing the same thing what someone else would be doing, or what another business would be doing. But do it your own way. Bring in your passion towards. I mean, it shouldn't be just another job or just another day job, or money shouldn't be your main objective, right? So do it with passion. Keep it closer to your heart, but think from your brain, right? Make your decisions here, but keep your ideas closer to you and make sure it's coming within you. And if you are doing the right thing, all the right things will follow you. So it's a very simple way to look at life, simple way to look at businesses. But when you do that as an entrepreneur or as an individual who want to excel in the corporate world, or as an individual who want to succeed in life, make sure you stick to a plan. You give your 110%. Even if you fall behind, don't get disheartened. Come back strong, pick yourself up, and do it better next time.
So, on behalf of the Rotary Club of KDU, I would like to offer our sincere gratitude for agreeing to come here and doing this interview. It was rather very insightful, so meet your tight and busy schedule. So, thank you so much for joining us. It was really a great pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nirmana, and thank you very much to the Rotary Club of KDU. It's always a pleasure to be in a forum like this and to do a podcast, because it's good to share what we have experienced, and then inspiring someone or helping out someone who needs it. It's always a pleasure, and that's what we WAVE Bolgoda or SINGHE as a group, what we believe in. So it's always a pleasure, and pleasure was always mine here today as well. Thank you.
So, I am Nirmana Vitradasa signing out, and see you again in the next episode.